Hello, 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 everyone. So glad to be with you again on yet another episode of iRock.tv with your own The Get Higher Strategist. Oh, y'all, it has been a whirlwind of a day. Um, I had some people here doing some work, and some of them didn't show up, some of them did. So it's been a challenging day today, to say the least. So I am going to get on with it, getting on because I am happy that I'm with you all so I can share what I want to share today. And it's all about how to move your career forward. That's what this month is all about, springing into action to move your career forward. And so today we are going to be talking about, let me see, where's my topic? Oh, here we go. We're going to be talking about 10 tips to improve your career development and strategy. And some of these may seem a little bit unusual, but it helps you to be able to sit down and think about the kind of strategy and for your career so you can move it forward. Sometimes you just need to do some of these things in order for you to actually see what you need to do, visualize it, and create a plan to take the next step to in order to go forward. Okay. So that's what I'm going to be talking about on today. And let me see who is in my audience. Hi, Miss Nairobi. Good to see you. Always good to have you on the show, to show up at the show. And I always ask you all to share the broadcast. Go ahead and share the broadcast. And I'm a little flustered because of all the stuff that's been going on today that did not go well. So, but it's life, and I got to figure out what to do next now. So at least my husband and I got to figure it out. Oh, I tell y'all, getting work done in your home when you want things to look a certain way and to be a certain way, and they don't come out the way that you want, it's quite disappointing because now you got to go back and find time to do it again. Like, what? But this is real life. I got to just woo sigh in order to just think about what to do next. Anyway, so that has been a crazy day for me on today, and especially a Monday. I hope you all had a wonderful holiday weekend. I know there are several people. I shouldn't say several people. Some of you may be still in the midst of celebrating Ramadan. We had a wonderful opportunity to go to a Ramadan celebration on this past Friday. Excellent food always. And then on this weekend, we had, of course, Easter. We've been celebrating Holy Week and Easter. And then we have people are also, some of my good friends are doing Passover. So happy celebrations, whichever celebration you are choosing to celebrate. I bid you well for all of those celebrations. Yay. Okay. So I am going to go to my quick commercial and then I will be right back. And everything is not showing up. Why is this not showing up? I think this is it. Let's try this one. I'll be back. All right, and we are back. Okay, so my first tip I'm going to talk about is something that is near and dear to my heart, and that's basically getting organized. You have to take an opportunity to sit down and organize your thoughts and also what you want to do. I started this way back in college. I actually sat down and mapped out a plan of all the classes I needed to take in order to finish up not only my degree, but also a double major, which had me in school for an extra semester. So, but I sat down, and back then we didn't have, well, we had computers, but I did it with just regular old pencil and paper. I sat down and put out the date that I wanted to graduate because I wanted to graduate exactly what I needed to do, when I needed to do it, and everything. And I also, because when I was in college, I worked 2 and 3 jobs. So I had to look at my work schedule. I had to see the things I had to do extracurricular, which wasn't a lot because I worked a lot because I had to put myself through college. And so I did that. So I sat down and organized everything I needed to do and wrote it out. Now, if you love apps, do that. some of the apps that you can use are mind mapping. So there's tons of free mind map out apps out there to map out what do you want to do, so you can kind of organize your thoughts so you can move yourself forward. Because if they're in your head, you're always going to be spinning around. But if you put them out of your head on a piece of paper or any kind of organized format, whether it's a mind map, a list, an outline, whatever you need, I want you to sit down and take a moment to get organized. And that way you can actually see, can begin to create a plan from that organized thought process of what it is you really want to do. Okay. So, yes, get organized. That's going to be my first tip. Next thing from that, you could create a career map. And that comes from, basically, you could do it like a mind map. So, what classes or what experiences or what job shadows or what things do you need to do to get to your end goal? This is the way you do that. You set out your end goal, put that first, and then you work backwards on how to get there. So you're actually mapping out your career as to what it is that I want to do and how do I actually get there, and making sure you're implementing those different experiences, any kind of courses, any kind of, and it's not always that you have to go back and get a full degree. Sometimes it could be a community college where you can get some training and a certificate in that area. And you can also do what I love to do, go to YouTube University. And that say that joyfully, because YouTube is a great place where people are teaching some skills that can help you move the needle in your actual career, especially if you're actually moving within your organization. Say, for example, you want to learn more about project management. Yes, you can go through the whole PMI courses to get that certificate, or you can get an idea of what project management is from a YouTuber, and then implement those same things inside of your job, your day-to-day job as it is today. So there's different ways that you can do that. But think about, how do you want to create an actual career map for yourself so you can follow the map to get to your end goal? Okay. Next thing, I want you to keep track of your wins. Sometimes we don't celebrate ourselves enough, or we forget when someone else celebrates us. I always talk about creating an add a girl or add a boy list folder on your computer, in your phone, wherever you want to keep any kind of information where you can retrieve it easily and look upon it and reflect on it. It will be good. So, you want to keep track of all of your actual wins, because that will help keep you motivated as you continue to go forward towards your career goal. So make sure you're have a process where you're tracking all of your wins. And what's nice about doing that, once you get to me, and you need an actual revamp of your resume or resume written, you have all of that listed out, and you can provide it to a resume writer like myself, so we can develop all the things you need into that resume to speak to your value. So do yourself a favor and develop some way of keeping track of all of your wins. Now, in addition to your wins, not that I necessarily want you to track your losses, but what I really want you to do is reflect on them. And because sometimes there may be a gap in a skill set or a misunderstanding or something that you can tweak so you can continue to move forward. So reflecting back on losses is a good thing, because it refocuses you on what you need to do. While we want to always celebrate our wins, focusing or not focusing, but reflecting, not dwelling in your losses, will help you understand what you need to do to go forward. You can even do it as simple as last week or yesterday. What worked? What didn't work? And just keep kind of a journal of that, or a little kind of, notation of device or something like that, so you can actually understand what it is. And I know journaling is huge. People love to journal, reflect it process only as fuel for your next win. Okay. And if it's something that you're going along a road, your career map, and then you see that something is not working, maybe something happened in your life, a life change or a work change, or something happened, you may have to pivot. Just because that one career goal is not working out, doesn't mean that it's all for naught. What you're going to do is think about, what can I pivot to? I've developed a lot of different skills. I've done some different things. Now, what else can I do? So it's okay to pivot your thoughts and pivot on what you want to do. And then that'll keep you to keep moving forward in your career. So don't be afraid to pivot. Okay. Next thing I want you to think about, focus on what you as an individual need. That may be selfish, but so what? Focus on what you need. Sometimes what we do is focus on what everybody think that we should be doing, but what do you want? What do you need to be successful in your career? Not to say that you can't listen to a mentor or even a coach like myself, or even a great friend that you confide in, or even your boss that you have a great relationship with. What it is that you want or need, and think about it. What's best for me? I'm listening to all of this, yes, but what is best for me? And don't be afraid to put you first and think about what you need as an individual in order to move your career forward. Yes, some people may say you make the best manager ever, best leader. But what if you don't want to lead people? You like being responsible for yourself. Think about what it is that you really want to do that fuels you as an individual, because that's going to help you create a great career for yourself, and not fitting yourself into somebody else's plan, but actually doing what you need for your own plan. So don't be afraid to focus on what you need, because you'll be the better for it. And then, of course, learn to say no. Sometimes we volunteer for a lot of things and we get so busy that we can't take the time to step back and focus on what we need and create an actual career map. Or nor can we even sit down and just get ourselves organized, because we keep adding on additional activities. Sometimes you just need to say no, take a step back, and rest. And that rest of your mind will help give you clarity on what it is that you want and need to do to move yourself forward. And it's okay. It's not to say that you won't ever have that opportunity again. It's just that, you know what, be more willing to say no when it really doesn't even fit into your career goals. So if they're asking you, for example, to organize the luncheon, how is that going to move your career forward? It's probably not. I wouldn't do that. So, what is it that you could say no to and stop being busy all the time and really focus on what it is you really want to do? And I use that very lightly because, a lot of people love organizing the latest picnics or outings and stuff. Unless you're going to become a eventual event planner, say no. Don't even do it. So if it's not lining up with your career goals, it's okay to say no. And don't bet an eye. No. All right. Okay, next, I want you to think about creating work life harmony. Now, we've heard about a lot about work life balance, but what I have found in my many years of working is that there's always something that's going to be imbalanced. But how can I make them work to the best of my ability? How can I bring everything into harmony? How can I make sure that what I'm doing over here is not going to necessarily affect what I'm doing over there? So, how can I make them work together for my good? I'm going to use an example that I do right now. Now, I work my 9 to 5 job. We have to go in for 1 week out of a month, physically go into the office. So we're working hybrid. What I do during that actual week, I'm very strategic. If I have a meeting, or if someone wants to get together or anything like that, where I have to purposely put on work clothes and purposely put on makeup, and someone even wants me to speak, my goal 9 times out of 10, I'm going to try to make sure I can do it during that week. So I'm actually getting everything I want done in a harmonious way. If I'm already dressed for work, go after work and go to an event, a networking event. If they need me to come speak, schedule during the lunch hour. I'll run over, do my speaking engagement, and come on back after lunch. So I'm being very strategic. So everything that I want to do in my life, I'm making them be harmonious instead of stressing out how I'm going to do this and how I'm going to do that. So I want you to think differently and think outside the box on how you can do that. even with if you have little children, if you have something that they need to for you to be at, think about how can you do it without having to miss the whole entire day from work. Or like for example, jury duty. If you have jury duty and you know you have work piling up, do you have to have the whole full day? Probably not. Just a couple hours, then come on back. So think differently on how you can make your life and your work harmoniously and not be in conflict with each other or trying to always balance stuff out, because life is what it is. It's not always going to be balanced. Okay, so think about work life harmony instead. And then I want you to speak positive. A lot of times people speak down on themselves, and it's surprising. Like, I want you to think about what is it that you are doing well. Stop thinking about all the things that you don't do well. Last week I talked about focusing on your strengths and only get maybe proficient at your weaknesses, because there's someone else who can pick up that area for you that you're not strong on. I talked to a person today about finances. I'm very good at people management, people, and resume writing and running my business, but when it comes to numbers, the finances, I glaze over. So guess what? I hire somebody to help me with that. So who can explain it better than me sitting down there trying to figure it out? Even with YouTube University, I have even tried that. And I was like, this is really just not my strong suit. So why am I putting so much energy into that? Just hire somebody who's better at it. And I'm hiring her today. Literally. So think about what can you do. So speak positive about all of the things that you are doing well, and then focus on those. So don't get down on yourself when things don't go right. Beating yourself up is not going to give you the endorphins that you need to keep moving forward. So stay positive and speak positive over yourself. Oh, and I just thought about this. I saw a TikTok. Sometimes I get lost on that. I'm not a TikToker myself, but I do like looking at some of the stuff on there. So there was this young lady that was actually speaking. She was singing a Christian song, a gospel song. Speak life over yourself. Encourage yourself. It's called Encourage Yourself. And I was like, yes, that's right. Encourage yourself when things are not going well. Encourage yourself, speak life over yourself, speak positivity over yourself. That will give you the endorphins that you need to keep moving, to keep on moving forward. Okay, so that's another way that you can move your career forward, is making sure that you're having positive thoughts, speaking positivity over yourself, and even affirmations. People have affirmations that they speak every single day, so that's what I want you to do for yourself as well. And last but not least, surround yourself with like minded professionals. Now, if you have someone who says, no, I don't ever want to do that, but you have the desire, find your tribe. Not to say that you have to leave that person behind, never have lunch with them anymore, never interact with them anymore. No, it's just that they're not speaking your language. Find the people who speak the same language of moving their career forward like you want to. There's plenty of groups out there on LinkedIn. There's people in probably in a company that you work for, in your network, your friends, anyone. Think about who wants to actually even probably create your own little mini mastermind to talk about those things that you want to do in your career. So when you're around people who are doing the same thing like you're more than likely to go further and with your goals and reach them quicker than being with people who are not necessarily on the same page. I also talk about this as business. So you have people who that's a buzzword, nothing that I created, but they talk about business besties because another person in business understands your business woes. Not everybody who understands that who are who are not in business. So you can't necessarily share that with someone else. Same with your career. If they don't have the same career aspirations, not necessarily identical, but not very focused on moving their career forward, you want to surround yourself with people who do want to move their career forward. And as you see, join the iRock community. We have a whole host of people there that you can join with them. It's an absolutely free community. And you can actually sign up for a mentorship there as well. So think about who can you connect with. And it's also like-minded groups. And I call them career resource groups. Get with people who are just like you, and that you can join the iRock community to be able to do that. That will help you also stay on track and also move your career forward. That's what it's all about. So those were my 10 tips too. That's kind of abnormal, not in any particular order, but things I really want you to think about. I'm gonna run through them one more time. My first tip was about getting yourself organized. Get a pen and paper, pencil and paper, or whatever kind of note taking app that you want, and map. Now, get organized. Organize all your thoughts on what it is that you truly want to do. Then from that, I want you to create a career map. It's almost like your mini roadmap to where you want to go. Put your goal up here, your end destination, and then start thinking about the steps that you need to do. A mind map software will help you do something just like that to create everything you need in order to move yourself forward. And I want you to keep track of your wins because that's part of when I talked about a little while ago about being positive. Looking back at your wins will give you that motivation to keep on going. Now, although we don't necessarily have to track our losses, but I want you to reflect on them because that gives you the fuel and motivation to do it differently the next time so that you can be stronger for it as well. Then if you have to pivot, it's okay. You if you want to pivot your career, go ahead and do that. Pivot your strategy, go ahead and do that. Don't think just because one way didn't work that nothing will work. That's not true. So think about what else can I do to make it different so I can still reach my end goal. And if your end goal has changed, it's okay. The fact is you're continued moving and you're developing a strategy as things get uncovered as you move along your career map. Okay. And then I want you to focus on what you need as an individual. We always think about what people say that we should be doing. We always thinking about what others say that we ought to post for this or apply for this job, apply for this job. But I want you to sit down and think about what is that you want. I use the example of a manager. Maybe they say you have great managerial skills. Maybe you don't want to lead a team of people. Maybe you don't want to do that. Maybe project management is a little bit better, where you're looking at the actual project, but you have indirect leadership, but not really direct leadership because you can go and tell their boss on them. So maybe that'll be something that you want to do. So think about what it is that you need that fits into your life so that you can move your career forward and learn to say no. No, it's a complete sentence. And it's okay to say that, and especially in the season of trying to develop your career and having a strategy to move yourself forward. Don't be a volunteer. Don't volunteer for everything. I use example of just because they ask someone to organize the breakfast or the events and the cook-offs and stuff like that. If that has nothing to do with you moving your career forward, I say do it. I say no, don't do it at all, or do it very sparingly, unless you want to be an event planner in your next life or on the side or something. But if it's not moving your career forward, no, just say no. I'm not doing that. I'm not making a coffee runs. I'm not baking no muffins. No. And what I usually do, I'm like, who? Here's some money. Who got? I give money because I'm planner. Have you planning stuff? Work life harmony and not balance. And that means making sure that everything that you're doing is working in harmony with one another. So look for those ways on how it can work. Not saying that you got to neglect one part of your life to do another part of your life. Just think about how you can creatively do those things so you can have harmony instead of trying to figure out how you can balance. To me, balance sounds a little bit more strenuous than it is being harmonious. Okay. And then speak positive over whatever it is that you're doing. All of those things that are good, giving you good vibes, speak them because it will increase your endorphins so that you can do the things you need to move your career forward and develop that strategy that will have you giving you the motivation to keep going forward. Okay. So speak positive. And last but not least, like I said, surround yourself with like minded people who want to do the same things that you do. If they are interested in moving their career forward, you want to talk with them. But if you're around people who's like, nope, I don't have any desire to move my career forward, I don't want to do that, I don't want to do that, you're probably talking to the wrong people. So talk to someone or be around someone who thinks like you. I use example of business besties. Reason that that term came out because people understand the ups and downs of being a business owner. So therefore, therefore they get together and talk business. And so they call them business besties or business friends or whatever you want to call it. That's what it's about. I want you to do the same thing with your career. Join the iRock community and find someone there who are like-minded people just like you, moving their careers forward. Okay, so that's all that I really have for you on today. Say hello if you are out there. I do appreciate you all stopping by. And again, I can't see any Facebook comments. If you all are out there, I'll come out and say hello. I do appreciate you all. The area that I really see the most are, it looks like LinkedIn and YouTube. And there's right here all except Facebook and I don't know why it doesn't say LinkedIn today, but anyway, I don't know why it's not showing. But I appreciate you all being with me as always. Again, all month we're talking about career development and strategy, spring it into action because it is the wonderful springtime, and I want to make sure that you all are moving forward in your career. All right. So thank you all for all that you do. And let me take a look and see if I got anything else out there. I don't think I do. And so let me talk about what I'm talking about next week. So, next week, we're going to continue this spring into action. 5 tips to ask for a raise before your annual reviews and get it. That's right. I'm going to teach you about that. Ask for that money. All right. Well, you all make it a great rest of your day. Have a wonderful day. And I'll see you all next week, same time, same station at iRock TV. This is your hostess with the mostest, Nickquolette Barrett, the Get Higher Strategist. Thank you. And I will see you next time. Bye.